Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yung, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Bazi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of leadership, motivation and communication. In today's episode, I'll be sharing on what the year 2021 Golden Ox influences will be for those born on the day of the earth elements. Thus far, I've already shared on the influences and the skill sets that you need to pick up for those born on the day of the wood as well as fire. So if you have not watched those, please do remember to go to the video description because I'll input in the links for you to watch as well. So without further ado, let's move on to the next segment. As usual, before we start, please remember to get your Bazi chart from bazicalculator.janetyong.com and then key in your information, or you can scan the QR code to download your Bazi chart. So like in all episodes, what we're focusing on for today's episode, it's not the animal horoscopes, but the day that you are born, because that's another way of looking at your Bazi chart to understand what are the skill sets that you need to pick up due to the 2021 Yin Metal Ox year influence. So what we are really talking about, like I mentioned earlier on, is the Yin metal, or what we call the golden element, since it represents jewelry, and also that of the ox, which has the Yin Earth elements in majority as root. We will then examine what these elements represents and how it influences the day of those born on the day of Earth today. When we are looking at skill sets and what kind of influence, I normally will utilize the Asian personality profiling system, which I adapted from the Bazi traditional system, so that it's easier for you all to understand and know what kind of skill sets to pick up. So if you like to know more about this particular system, you can click on the link that I'm showing here to the playlist on the Asian personality profiling system to understand a bit more. Like I mentioned earlier on, today's focus will be for those born on the day of Earth. So for the first half of 2021, basically the Yin Earth and the Yang Earth elements will have the idea orientation influence. Now what does that represent? Let me cover a little later on. And in the second half of 2021, both the Yin Earth and Yang Earth elements will have what we call the people orientation influence. So let's take a look at those born on the day of Earth. Earth generally represents trust, stability, and in this case, the Yang Earth, it is basically the image of the mountain. If you'd like to understand more about your own day elements characteristics, it is good to basically watch the video that I have in the Asian personality profiling series, basically because the more awareness you have of yourself and what you like to do, generally you choose a job role, a career that goes in alignment. Therefore, whenever you actually have great stars coming into your chart for the year, you'll basically be able to maximize your potential. So for 2021, in the first half, the Young Earth has what we call the performer profile influence. Now the performer, like I mentioned in a previous episode, it's really an idea orientation or an influence where you need to basically showcase your creativity, your talent, your speaking skills, and also how you can think on your feet. For the first half of this year, likelihood you have to do a lot more presentations, public speaking, and activities that will brand yourself for better recognition. So if you are someone who's really shy, who have never really picked up the skill sets before, this is a great year then for you to sign up for a course, volunteer for presentations, go for public speaking skills course, so that you can basically beef up your speaking skill sets and beef up your resume so that you can get better recognition. Okay, so in the second half of 2021, the influence is that of the leader. Now that lines up pretty nicely from the first half of 2021. Why is that the case? Well, once you have brushed up your speaking skills, you're able to speak up your mind better, then as a leader profile, you should be able to influence people better be able to inspire them towards a common skill set, because that's what the leader profile is. The leader profile is really about influencing other people towards a common set of goals. The next element that we're looking at is that of the Yin Earth element. So what's in store for those born on the day of Yin Earth? In the first half of 2021, they will have what we call the ideal orientation profile influence of the artist. Now the artist, compared to the performer, it's a little bit more laid back, it's a little bit more introvert, so they may not necessarily be speaking out a lot in a big group, but it will also be showcasing their talent, their creativity, as well as their skill set for looking at a longer term period, especially in the first half of 2021. So they may be involved in more strategic planning, they may be involved in more creating of products. So these particular profile, if you know your Bazi profile itself and it is that of the artist, and this is the year where you can basically come up with ideas, have your ideas patented, make sure your ideas are tested in the market, go for some design learning course so that you can make sure that you learn the latest design thinking concepts to make the product that you want to build a success. So that's for the first half of 2021 for those born on the day of Yin Earth. What about that for the second half of the year? For the second half of the year, the influence for the Yin Earth element is also people oriented, but that belongs more towards the friend profile. Now the friend profile influence, it's also influencing others, but more in a smaller team. So therefore you may be building up a team, a small team, which will help you carry out some of the tasks that you are looking at. So for the first half of 2021, you may be basically planning a slightly longer term what you need to do, and in the second half you are influencing a smaller team, building that team to move towards the goals that you have set for the year 2021. Now do remember that this is actually only the 2021 influence. You need to then tie it back up to your own Bazi profile as well, and if you do not know, please do watch my Asian personality profiling series to find out what your basic intrinsic profile is. This is the end of my episode for those born on the day of the earth elements. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'll be having a free webinar on how you can build multiple streams of income. So if you would like to know how you can build resilience with multiple streams of income, do remember to go to the video description, click on the link and sign up for the free webinar. I'll be coming up with more information closer to the date itself. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.